Sailor Moon Redemption, Prelude. By Celgress. The North Pole, Dawn. Struggling to her feet, Minako Ano blinked. She glanced around at her surroundings. Her mind filled with astonishment. She was alive, so were her three dearest friends Aria Hino, Makoto Kino, and Ami Mizuno, but how? The last thing she remembered was Queen Metallia killing them. "You're alive. I was so worried," Usagi Tsukino said. Unlike her fellow Sailor Scouts or Guardians, Usagi was still in her transformed state of Sailor Moon. "We're alive but our powers are gone," Ami said. "It doesn't matter. We survived. We're together," Usagi said with a weary smile. "Not all of us. You have him, we have no one." Minako thought bitterly, eyeing Tuxedo Mask aka Mamoru Chiba, who stood beside her friend and princess. Despite her shame, she could not drive the treacherous jealousy out of her mind. "It isn't fair. Kunzite is dead. Sure, he remembered our love, but that doesn't matter now. And what about Ami, Makoto, and Aria? At least I knew what Kunzite meant to me for more than a few hours of this life. They didn't even have time to come to terms with our horrible fate before their lovers were snatched away forever. How can I move on? How can any of us move on? I don't want to feel this way towards my princess. I hate myself. I'm a disgrace. An unworthy guardian. Oh, Kunzite, why did you leave me a second time?" "Minako, are you all right?" Makoto asked, noticing her friend's sad face. "Are you all right, Makoto?" Minako asked the former Sailor Jupiter, thus turning the question around. "What do you mean?" Makoto said. "I can't do this anymore," Minako blurted out when everyone's questioning eyes turned towards her. Minako's emotional dam broke. Everything she had locked away since becoming the first Sailor Guardian poured forth. "I somehow endured being alone with Artemis for months. I did my duty without complaint. But what's happened is too much. I can't bear it. I'm glad I'm no longer a Sailor Guardian." "What do you mean?" Aria asked, fearing she already knew the answer. "Kunzite didn't come back, nor did the other knights. They're dead, Aria. We'll never see them again in this life. Kunzite will never hold me in his arms again. How I've longed for his touch," Minako said. Her voice cracked. She was on the verge of an emotional collapse. "Maybe you don't care, huh? You've always been tough." Aria frowned, her eyes shifted downward. "I'm not made of stone," she said in a hushed voice. "I feel pain like anyone else. I love Jadeite every bit as much as you love Kunzite. All four of us are grieving in our way. Why must you be so cruel, Minako?" Aria turned away from the others so they would not see her, fighting back tears. "Stop it, stop it, stop it!" Ami cried, almost pulling her short hair out. "I can't stand any more of your bickering. We can't change what happened. I wish Zoisite was alive with all my heart, with all my soul, but wishes are just that, wishes. We have to face facts, girls. They're gone." "A hollow victory," Makoto said softly. "All I ever wanted was to love and be loved in return. I was a fool. The pain I feel is unbearable. I wish I had never learned about my destiny. I wish I was just a normal girl again and that none of this had happened." Makoto openly wept. She was soon joined by Ami while Minako and Aria glared at each other. "Ah, guys, no," Usagi said. Before she could move to physically comfort her friends, she felt Mamoru's hand on her shoulder. "Don't," Mamoru cautioned. "Let them grieve." She wanted to ease their pain more than she had ever wanted anything. They deserved happiness. Feeling helpless, Usagi began to cry. Her tears reactivated the silver crystal. A blinding wave of light enveloped everyone present. The Sailor Guardians regained their lost powers in an instant. Then the 4 broken gems inside Mamoru's cloak reformed. They flew around each other, leaving his cloak. In astonishment, everyone watched them become familiar 4 figures: Jadeite, Nephrite, Zoisite, and Kunzite. When Kunzite smiled at her, Venus felt her resolve falter. Was she going insane because her mind refused to face her harsh reality? Their powers couldn't have returned, and he couldn't be here, could he? Minako felt faint. Blackness quickly overtook her. Kunzite caught Venus before she hit the ground. He gently brushed a few strands of her long golden hair from her face. "My poor Venus," he whispered. Kunzite knew he had been a beast. He had hurt her and the others terribly. He had betrayed his oath to protect his prince and the earth. He was an utter disgrace. How could he ever make amends? "My prince, we are not worthy of your forgiveness," Jadeite said, bowing as he got down on one knee before Mamoru. Nephrite and Zoisite did the same. "That said, if you will have us, we will swear not to fail in our duties as knights a second time." Nephrite nodded. "We will protect you with our last breath." Zoisite nodded. "Nothing will sway us from our appointed role again. If you accept us back into your service," Mamoru said warmly to his old friends. "How could I not accept you 4 back into my service? You are my best friends," he added with an impish grin. "Besides, you saved my life tonight at the cost of your own lives. I have not forgotten how your gems were broken while defending me and Usagi from Queen Metalia's wrath." Venus moaned, stirring. Her eyes fluttered open. She stared at Kunzite's face for some time before she spoke. "Are you real?" "I am, my dear sweet Venus," Kunzite said. He planted a gentle kiss on her forehead. "We did it, guys, we survived. More than that, we won. Earth is safe," Usagi said excitedly. Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter each joyously embraced their revived lovers. Tokyo a few weeks later, afternoon. "How come you get all the money from the video game?" Usagi complained. She, Mamoru, Minako, and Kunzite were enjoying a late lunch in a park. "Because the game is about me. I'm the star, Sailor V," Minako said, pointing at herself. "Legally I don't have to give you or anyone else anything." "She has a point." Mamoru chuckled while Usagi huffed. "It isn't as if Minako is using the proceeds for anything frivolous," Kunzite said. "At my suggestion, she set up a trust that will benefit all the Sailor Guardians equally. We'll use it to buy any gear we might need for missions or pay travel expenses for trips," Minako said happily. "When each of us turns 21, she can cash out if she wants, take a 5th share." "I'd rather have my share now," Usagi said, folding her arms over her chest and pouting like a spoiled child. "Well, you can't," Minako said. "Ugh, so unfair," Usagi said. The others laughed. Usagi was about to make a more intelligent retort when the sky opened up. A small girl with pink hair accompanied by a strange toy of some sort landed between her and Mamoru, kissing him on the lips by accident, not that Usagi thought so. Everyone was speechless. The pink-haired girl looked around and ran off. "I suggest we go after her, my liege, I mean Mamoru," Kunzite said. Mamoru had made it clear he did not want to be addressed by any royal title. He was not a prince in this life. "Good idea, Kunzite," Mamoru said, getting over the shock of what had just occurred. "Let's go." The 4 ran off in hot pursuit of the mysterious pink-haired girl. To be continued. So, should I continue with this plot, Bunny? Please let me know. I've been watching a lot of Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal lately, the latter of which inspired this idea. Author's Note 1. I found the Scouts' reaction to the demise of their lost lovers lacking in Sailor Moon Crystal. It was unrealistic, especially after the crisis had passed. They quickly forgot about everything that happened. Yes, they are sworn to protect their princess, but they are also individuals. They should have mourned more deeply. I'm writing this story in part to correct that mistake. Author's note 2. I'll be blending aspects of the original anime and Sailor Moon Crystal. While I like Crystal, there is not nearly as much time devoted to character development and world building as there is to action scenes and cool power ups. Chapter 2, Chapter 2. Disclaimers. All characters appearing in Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal are copyright Toei Animation and Kodansha Ltd. They are the property of their respective owners. No infringements of these copyrights are intended and are not authorized by the copyright holder. All original characters and concepts are the property of Celgress. Sailor Moon Redemption, Black Moon Arc Prologue, Shadow of the Future. By Celgress. A park in Tokyo, afternoon. Our four intrepid heroes caught up with the small pink-haired girl and her odd contraption near a swing set. "We're not going to hurt," Minako said, offering the frightened girl her hand. "My name is Minako, this is my boyfriend Kunzite, and our good friends Mamoru and Usagi." "What is your name?" "She's Usagi." the pink-haired girl asked, looking up at Usagi. "Yup, she's my friend Usagi Tsukino." Minako smiled. A hard expression replaced the pink-haired girl's previous expression of confusion. She pulled out a Glock pistol which she pointed straight at Usagi. "Hand over the silver crystal, or else," the girl demanded. Thinking fast, Mamoru placed himself between Usagi and her mysterious assailant. Just as quickly, Kunzite pulled the gun from the pink-haired girl's hand. The gun discharged, but no shoot came forth. It was a toy filled with flowers. The girl attempted to run again, but Minako caught her. "Let me go," she squealed, kicking Minako hard in Minako's stomach. "She tried to kill me," Usagi squeaked in disbelief. "Am I bulletproof? If I am, do I have to be in my transformed state?" Usagi could not help but wonder. "Not exactly," Kunzite said, inspecting the toy. "Her weapon, while it appears realistic, is harmless." He tossed it onto the ground. "Let me go. Let me go," the pink-haired girl screamed. For someone so small, she struggled mightily in Venus' grasp. "Who are you? How do you know about the silver crystal?" Kunzite asked. "My family told me all about the silver crystal," the pink-haired girl answered cryptically. "Who are your family?" Kunzite pressed. "It doesn't matter. They're in trouble. I need to help them by saving my mom," the pink-haired girl said. "Who is your mother?" Kunzite asked, but the pink-haired girl either could not or did not want to answer. Her eyes filled with tears. "Kunzite, that's enough," Mamoru said. "But my Mamoru. She could be dangerous," Kunzite said. "She's a little girl. I think we can handle her," Mamoru said, kneeling. "Let her go, Minako." Minako had her doubts if this was the correct course of action, but she deferred to Mamoru's judgment. "Whatever you say." Minako released her. The pink-haired girl ran into Mamoru's embrace. There, you're safe," he said, stroking the sobbing girl's hair. "Yeah, but are we?" Usagi grumbled, not liking this one bit. 30th Century Crystal, Tokyo, afternoon. Prince Demanda of the Black Moon Clan was not happy. While his plan to overthrow the Moon Clan and conquer Earth had been a resounding success, thus far, an annoying loose end remained. The young princess escaped his clutches and those of his minions by seeking refuge in the past, or so his sources indicated. "Tell me, Wiseman, why were the offspring unaffected by our surprise attack? Is this a weakness of the black malefic crystal you have concealed from me? Is it something I should be concerned about moving forward with my plans?" Prince Demanda asked. "I am unsure why they were unaffected, Prince Demanda." The hooded apparition known as Wiseman rasped from deep within his hooded robe. "If my agents had not captured and subdued the 4 junior goddesses, our plans would be in even more jeopardy," Prince Demanda said. Now only the princess and her feline companion remain at large to trouble us. Prince Demanda glanced at 4 chambers that help 4 slumbering young girls in Sailor Guardian outfits. Each chamber bore a nameplate from right to left. These read, Aphrodite, Hermia, Hermia, Phobe, Phoebe, and Iovo, Iovio. Aphrodite had medium-length silver hair tied in a ponytail. Hermia had spiky short brilliant blue hair. Phobe had long raven hair. Iovo had medium-length brown hair. The princess will seek out assistance, allies. You must prevent her success, Prince Demanda. Until Nemesis reaches its apogee in orbit around Earth, we remain vulnerable to a counterattack which could undo all over lovely work, however unlikely. Wiseman rasped. What about Sailor Saturn? She could perhaps destroy us if she tired. Prince Demanda mused. Should I send my agents to intercept her before she returns from the outer solar system? Why risk such a powerful being sticking her nose in our business if we can stop her? Wiseman laughed, a dry crackling sound terrible to behold. There is no risk involved. Long before our time, she would have posed a grave threat to us, but not so these days. Her resolve has been fatally weakened by emotion. Sailor Saturn will dare not move against us. She adores the children, especially the princess. She would never endanger their lives. Even though she knows they may be reborn if she destroys Earth with her power, there is a chance they may not be. Wiseman's next sentence was filled with such venom even Prince Demanda flinched momentarily. Love is Sailor Saturn's weakness, whereas hatred is our strength. I hope you are not mistaken, Wiseman. Prince Demanda said. Your advice has yet to steer me wrong. I pray for both our sake your track record remains spotless. Worry not, it shall, Wiseman said. Sailor Saturn, if she returns, is of no concern to us. If by some minuscule chance she does dare intervene, I'll deal with her. Ho, ho, you are confident enough in your power to test yourself against the infamous Sailor Saturn, the guardian of destruction and rebirth? You grow bold, Wiseman. Prince Demanda said with a sly grin. Perhaps I should fear you as do some of my servants. I assure you, Prince Demanda, there is nothing to fear. We share the same goal. Wiseman said. And if we didn't, Wiseman? Prince Demanda asked. In which case, we would not be in partnership, thus such a line of thought is rendered moot, Wiseman said, skillfully evading Demanda's question. Very well, Wiseman, keep your secrets. I care only about results, and you have provided those in spades. Prince Demanda said. What of the young princess? Wiseman said. Don't worry about her. I'll send some of my best minions to apprehend our little runaway rabbit. She'll be under our thumb soon enough. Prince Demanda laughed. Black Moon Episode 1, Getting to Know You. An arcade in Tokyo, afternoon. What is taking everyone so long? Don't they know this is an emergency? I was quite clear when I sent the message. Usagi said, flapping her arms, which caused Kunzite to stifle a laugh. It's not funny. Usagi snapped. My sincerest apologies, Princess, I mean Usagi, Kunzite said. Where are they? Usagi said, growing ever more impatient. We do have lives, you know, outside of being members of this club, Minako said. She was going to say Sailor Guardians before she remembered they were in public. Usagi was a bit taken aback by Minako's words. I know that, she said. But what if she tries something before the others arrive? She pointed accusingly at the pink-haired girl. What exactly do you think is she going to try? Minako asked. Her toy, Usagi said, grasping at straws. It could be a weapon, maybe a bomb. The pink-haired girl looked up at Usagi, seemingly surprised by the allegations. I have my eye on you. Mamoru shook his head. While he loved Usagi dearly, sometimes her behavior could be a bit over the top, if not downright childish. Can I see your toy, honey? He asked. Sure, the pink-haired girl said, handing the strange cat-like device to Mamoru. Watch out, Mamoru, Usagi said dramatically. What does it do? Mamoru asked. Lots of stuff. The pink-haired girl said. Like what? Mamoru prodded. Lunapi talks to me. She can sing songs. She tells me about lots of things. The pink-haired girl said excitedly. Lunapi, that's an interesting name, Mamoru said. You know, it kind of looks like Luna too, Minako said, eyeing the ball. I don't see the resemblance. My cat is far prettier than this thing. Usagi said stubbornly as she crossed her arms over her chest. Hi guys, sorry we're late. Zoiside took me to the Natural History Museum. They have a new exhibit on erosion, it's fascinating. Who is your friend? Isn't she a cutie? Ami said, entering the arcade with Zoiside arm in arm. She knelt in front of the pink-haired girl. What's your name, little cutie? She won't tell us, Usagi said. I bet she's a spy. She doesn't look like a spy, Zoiside said, kneeling next to Ami. You aren't a spy, are you, small one? He ruffled her hair, playful. The pink-haired girl giggled. Her expression light up at the appearance of Ami and Zoiside for some reason. Other than Mamoru, they were the only people the pink-haired girl seemed to like. Nope, sir, I'm not a spy, I promise. She's been nothing but mean to me since I came here. The pink-haired girl stuck her tongue out at Usagi. You brat, Usagi exclaimed, sticking her tongue out at the pink-haired girl in return. We can't have that, now can we? Zoiside said with a smile. She says her family is in trouble and she needs to save her mother, Kunzite said. If you tell us your name, maybe we can help your mother and family. Ami offered. No one can help them. The pink-haired girl said briefly, turning away. I bet we can, Zoiside said. Ami and her friends have helped plenty of people. What's your name, small one? Usagi, but everyone calls me Chibi Usa. She said. Hey, you two share the same name and the same hairstyle, Minako said to Usagi, glancing back and forth between her and Chibi Usa. Plus, as I said earlier, that creepy sphere thing is called Lunapi and looks just like our Luna, how very odd. Coincidences, nothing more, Usagi said dismissively. Hi, everyone, I said, entering with Jadeite. So, you're finally here. It took you guys long enough. You've been waiting forever. Where have you two been all day? Usagi said with a groan. At the movies, why? Rei asked. Huh, I thought you only tended to your family shrine and studied, Usagi said. And here I thought you only overslept and played video games. Rei fired back, none too pleased by Usagi's rude comment. Speaking of Rei's family shrine, Jadeite said, changing the subject. He loved Rei, but he knew she had a bad temper, best distract her before she unleashed her wrath on Usagi. Rei's grandfather hired me as the shrine's new part-time financial manager. It doesn't pay much, but I will get plenty of experience which will help me find an accounting job when I graduate. In the meantime, I can help you with household expenses, Mamoru. There's no need. As I've already told you, I can handle everything. My late parents left me plenty of money. Mamoru said. Other than my place being a tad cramped, I'm happy you four and living with me. Be that as it may, I prefer to help out. Jadeite said. If you insist, Mamoru said with a shrug. But none of you should feel obliged. I owe you plenty. All I want is to see my friends get their lives back on track after what happened. He chose his words carefully. He dared not mention their time spent as unwitting members of the Dark Kingdom in front of Chibi Usa. While he doubted the girl posed any threat, it was best not to take chances. Thank you, Sir Mamoru, you are a true friend. Jadeite said. What can I say except that I learned from the best, Mamoru said with a smile. Sorry, we're late, Makoto said entering with Nephrite. Both were laughing about something and appeared to be very happy. You're horrible. She slapped Nephrite playfully. No, you're horrible, Nephrite said slapping her back. Mind filling us in? What's up with the slap game? Minako asked. Oh, nothing, we were just telling each other bad jokes, Makoto said. Who is she? Nephrite asked spotting Chibi Yusa. A big-mouthed little twerp, Yosagi said. Her name is Chibi Yusa, Ami said. She knows about the silver crystal, Minako whispered to her friends. Wow, Makoto said in astonishment. She really looks like Yosagi. Are you two related? Maybe she's your long-lost cousin or something. No, we aren't related. Perish the thought. I'm well behaved, she's an unruly brat. Yosagi yelled, drawing attention from the few patrons that happened to be around. Her friends looked away or coughed awkwardly. How does this place stay in business? Rei could not help but wonder, caring nothing about Yosagi's latest tantrum. It's always semi-deserted whenever I come here. How can we be sure? She did know your name. Kunzite said. That's right, Minako said, snapping her fingers. She asked if you were Yosagi Tsukino before she pulled her toy gun on you. She did, Mamoru confirmed for the others. Where are you from, Chibi Yusa? Zoisite asked. Somewhere nicer than here. I hate this place. All people do is ask me questions. Chibi Yusa, her eyes filling with tears. I want to go home, but I can't. I did something bad. There, Ami said. You can tell us when you are ready, Chibi Yusa, okay. Okay, Chibi Yusa said. In the meantime, how about Ami and I take you out for ice cream? Zoisite said. No one ever takes me out for ice cream, Yosagi grumbled. You mean it? Chibi Yusa chirped happily, wiping away her tears. Of course, Zoisite said. Ami and I will take you to the big ice cream parlor at the mall before my evening shift there starts. You work at the super nice ice cream place, since when? Yosagi asked. Since yesterday, when I applied for a part-time after-school job there, Zoisite explained. I'm so proud of my Zoisite. He's already a junior manager. Ami said. It was the job I applied for, it isn't as if I earned a promotion, Zoisite said, blushing from embarrassment due to Ami's bragging of his mediocre accomplishment. He's so modest. Ami beamed in admiration. Careful, Zoisite, jadeite, you'll make the rest of us seem lazy in the eyes of our girlfriends if you keep being go-getters. Nephrite chuckled. Guys, we're getting sidetracked, Yosagi said. We need to find out what Chibi Yusa is up to. And we will, in time, Ami said. I don't know about you, but I could use some ice cream right now. How about it, everyone, want to tag along? I can get us a discount, Zoisite said. Count us in, Minako said, raising her hand. Kunzite raised his hand after Minako gently elbowed him in his stomach. Count us in too, Makoto and Nephrite said in unison. Sure, why not, Rei said when Jadeite looked at her with his begging puppy dog eyes. She could not say no to him, however much she might try. Coming? Mamoru asked Yosagi when Chibi Yusa placed her small hand in his much larger one. Please come with us for ice cream, Yosagi, Chibi Yusa said innocently. I'll come, but only so I can keep watch over her, Yosagi said. Zoisite checked the time on his smartphone. We better hurry so we can catch the next train. My shift starts in under an hour. When no one else was looking, Chibi Yusa stuck her tongue out at Yosagi. Yosagi fumed inside but said nothing. She swore she would prove to her friends that this mysterious, semi-homicidal brat was up to no good if it was the last thing she ever did. Near Yosagi Tsukino's residence several hours later, night. I don't understand why the brat has to stay with me. Why can't you or someone else, anyone else, take her? I'm begging you, please. Usagi complained. No one else has enough room. Plus, if Chibi-Yusa stayed with any of us she'd be alone during the day, which isn't fair to her. Ami said. Chibi-Yusa isn't a criminal who should be punished. Not that we know of at least, Usagi said loud enough to earn a glare from Chibi-Yusa. I heard that, Chibi-Yusa said. Yeah, so, what, it's true. We know hardly anything about you, Chibi-Yusa. If that is your real name. Usagi said. You're a nasty person, Chibi-Yusa said. So are you, Usagi said. Maybe I'd be nicer if you hadn't pulled a gun on me when we first met, brat. It wasn't real, Chibi-Yusa said, brushing off Usagi's legitimate albeit grossly exaggerated gripe. Didn't anyone ever tell you it's the thought that counts, Usagi said. Usagi and Chibi-Yusa continued to argue as they walked down the dark street with Ami. Ami had decided to walk home with Usagi because she lived relatively close. Everyone else had long since departed for their own homes. Ami, how am I supposed to explain Chibi-Yusa to my parents? Usagi said. I can see it now. Mom and Dad, can the weird little pink-haired kid who fell from the sky and who might or might not be a threat stay with us? She can stay with us. Why, thank you so much, Mom and Dad, you're the best. Tell them she's my sister, but my father doesn't have time to look after her during the day, Ami said. They won't buy that. They'll contact your dad to verify our story. Usagi said. How about this? She's my foster kid from Africa. Usagi, I doubt that will work, Ami said. It's a good cover story. Why wouldn't it work? Usagi said. Well, for starters, she doesn't look very African, Ami said, looking at the pink-haired, red-eyed girl in her distinctly Japanese-style dress. Ah, I've got you there. I'll say Chibi-Yusa is from South Africa. Her family, who died in a tragic safari accident, were Dutch. Usagi said. She was proud of her powers of reason. I'm not sure, Usagi, she doesn't look Dutch either, Ami said. You're really stupid, Chibi-Yusa said. I am not stupid. It's a good plan. I'll show you both. It'll work. Usagi said. Hush up now, we're here. They had arrived at the Tsukino residence. Usagi's parents and brother were waiting for them. It was getting late and her parents were worried. They opened the front door, ready to admonish their daughter for her tardiness. Why were you out so late, young lady? Usagi's father demanded. We were so worried. Why didn't you call or text us? Usagi's mother said. You're in big trouble, sis. Usagi's brother taunted her. Dad. Mom, I can explain. I was at the airport collecting my foster daughter. I want you to meet Chibi-Yusa. She's African, South African. Usagi said, pushing Chibi-Yusa forward. Chibi-Yusa will be staying with us for a while because her orphanage burnt down, he. Chibi-Yusa rolled her eyes. From one of her pockets, she pulled forth a collapsible umbrella. Usagi and Ami watched in shock as Chibi-Yusa sprayed Usagi's family with pink smoke from her umbrella. I knew you were bad news, Usagi said, tackling Chibi-Yusa to the ground. Lunapi rolled away when Chibi-Yusa dropped it. Usagi, get off her. Usagi's dad said, pulling Usagi off of Chibi-Yusa. It isn't her fault you stayed out late. You're the oldest. Usagi's mother said. You could have hurt your little sister by roughhousing. Little sister, what? Usagi said, to which Chibi-Yusa, now back on her feet, smirked. Get inside, Usagi's father said. We'll decide on your punishment for breaking curfew later. Did mean old Usagi hurt you, Chibi-Yusa? Usagi's mother asked, helping the pink-haired girl up. A little, Chibi-Yusa said, feigning injury by rubbing her head. But Usagi sputtered at a loss for words. Usagi, say good night to your friend and come inside. Don't take long. Usagi's dad warned. Usagi's family went inside with Chibi-Yusa, her mesmerizing umbrella, and Luna P. They shut the door behind them. That brat, Usagi said, stomping her feet. Well, no need for a backstory. They've accepted Chibi-Yusa. One problem solved. Ami said. Ah! Usagi screamed into her hand to muffle the sound. Could things get any worse? 30th century Crystal Tokyo, night. Sailor Saturn made short work of dozens of Black Moon dolls along with several long-low minions. She was on her way to the Crystal Castle so she could hopefully set things right when Wiseman appeared. Saturn directed a hard glare at the Wraith. Begone, foul demon, or join your equally foul creations in oblivion. Unlike Neo Queen Serenity, I shall not hesitate to destroy you. Sailor Saturn said, brandishing her staff weapon threateningly. You speak in haste, Sailor Saturn. Surely you of all the Sailor Guardians are aware that even I can be redeemed. What makes you think your judgment of me is more valid than was Neo Queen Serenity's? Wiseman taunted. Serenity showed you mercy, and for it, she has suffered greatly, as have countless innocents. I shall not repeat her error. You are corrupted beyond salvage. Sailor Saturn said. Ha, such certainly, but it is born of arrogance. If you knew the bitter price of my destruction, you would be plunged into doubt. Wiseman said confidently. Of what do you speak, demon? Sailor Saturn said. A sliver of fear wiggled through her mind. Behold your precious junior goddesses. Wiseman said. The hovering entity showed Saturn an image of the slumbering Aphrodite, Hermia, Phoebe, and Iovo. We have captured them. If you touch me, I'll use my magic to swiftly kill them. You'll witness them puff out like candles in the wind. You bluff, demon. It is an illusion. Sailor Saturn hoped. They are no illusions. They are as real as you or me. Wiseman said. Allow me to demonstrate. Sailor Saturn watched in horror as the children choked and gagged in their tubes. She could sense their life forces rapidly being drained away by Wiseman's vile magic. If they perished in such a way, Saturn was unsure if they would be reborn into new lives if she later destroyed Earth. She could not take the risk, for it was too great. Stop, please stop, Sailor Saturn pleaded. I trust you've seen enough. Wiseman said. I need no further demonstration of your dire abilities nor your ill intent. What do you want from me, demon? Sailor Saturn. Specifically, you'll see. At present, a pledge of alliance shall suffice. Wiseman gloated. Although she was seething inside, Sailor Saturn held her rage in check. Exercising immense self-control, Saturn dropped down to one knee. She bowed her head respectfully, although she felt anything but respect for this child-threatening monster. I will do whatever you ask of me, save for killing innocents in your name. Do not harm the children. They are dear to me. I could not live without them. She said, her voice cracking. Serve me well, and no harm shall befall them. Betray me or my followers and you shall watch them die, I promise you. Wiseman said. Your first test of loyal will be when your fellow outers arrive. I've learned the others shall come to stop me. Your inaugural mission as a new member of Black Moon is their defeat, by whatever means necessary. Nay, Sailor Saturn said, shaking her head. I cannot stand against my fellow Sailor Guardians. She added as a single tear rolled down her cheek, never again. You disappoint me, Saturn. You have grown soft, weak, Wiseman said. Behind him, in the image bubble he had created, the children violently convulsed. Do as I command or they die now. No. Sailor Saturn shouted, jumping to her feet. Please, let them live. Will you stop the other outers from interfering in my business? Wiseman said. I, yes, I shall. Sailor Saturn forced herself to say. Yes, you shall, who? Wiseman hissed. Yes, I shall stop them, master. Sailor Saturn said, bowing her head in a sign of submission. The very words seemed to burn on her lips. She hated saying them, but what choice did she have? Good, Wiseman rasped. Everything was proceeding as Wiseman had foreseen. Soon, he would destroy all his enemies and gain his rightful vengeance against the Moon Clan and the people of Earth. Then he would conquer time itself by changing the past. Black Moon Episode 2, Trial and Tribulations. Usagi Tsukino's residence, early morning. Usagi was having a terrible time of it. Her family was being controlled by a pink-haired little monster who carried around a strange magic ball. No matter what Usagi tried, she could not free her parents or brother from its thrall nor make them see how serious their peril was. In a last-ditch effort, she transformed into Sailor, revealing her secret identity. They still refused to be swayed. Her mother told Usagi to wake up. Wake up. Usagi, wake up. You're going to be late for school, again. Usagi's mother yelled, pulling the blankets off her daughter's shivering form. Ah, Mom, 5 more minutes, please, Usagi moaned, refusing to open her eyes. I've already given you an extra 10. Get up, you don't want to set a bad example for Chibi-Usa, now do you? Usagi's mother said. Who cares about Chibi-Usa? She's a brat. Usagi said. She's being mean to me again, Chibi-Usa said unhappily. Usagi, don't talk about your little sister like that. You'll hurt her feelings. Usagi's mother admonished Usagi. Good, Usagi said, finally getting out of bed. Maybe she'll stop bothering me and my friends. Chibi-Usa sniffed, her eyes growing wet. Look what you've done, Usagi. She's crying. Usagi's mother said sternly. You're so very rude. You've been nothing but mean to me. Chibi-Usa said, pointing an accusing finger at Usagi. Run away, and you won't have to be insulted by me, Usagi said. Usagi, you're grounded for 1 week. You come straight home after school, young lady. Usagi's mother said. What did I do? She started it? Usagi exclaimed wrongly. But what about my friends, my boyfriend? They're all off limits until you learn how to behave, young lady. Usagi's mother said. She picked up the distraught Chibi-Usa. Now get ready for school while I comfort your sister. Usagi's mother walked out of the room with Chibi-Usa in her arms. Ugh, unbelievable, Usagi said. Luna wandered into Usagi's bedroom. Luna, I want you and Artemis to find out everything you can about Chibi-Usa. Is she an enemy, maybe? Either way, I don't trust her. Keep an eye on her. I don't like her being around my mom while I'm away at school. Will do, you can count on us, Usagi, Luna said. I know I can, Usagi said, smiling for the first time since Chibi-Usa's strange arrival the day before. Luna had been with her from the moment everything started. Luna, her friend, her confidant, her beloved companion. Usagi knew she could also count on Luna. She knelt to pet the cat, who purred happily. I wonder if my cousin Ranma ever has these sorts of problems? I bet not. His life is so much easier than mine. I wish things were a cakewalk for me too. Usagi said glumly. After getting dressed in her school uniform and collecting her backpack, Usagi hardly had enough time to grab a bite to eat on her way out the door. If she hurried, she could still catch her bus. She absently noted that her mother and Chibi-Usa were watching a local morning news program on the family TV. What was being said by the newscaster, a pretty young lady in her mid-20s, did not quite register with Usagi before she hastily shut the front door behind her. A toaster pastry stuck firmly in her mouth. Denji Pantomime remains the leading candidate to succeed the late governor of Tokyo Prefecture in the upcoming special election. If elected governor, Mr. Pantomime, who turns 20 years old 6 weeks before next year's election, will be the youngest governor in the history of Tokyo Prefecture. The minimum age for a gubernatorial candidate was lowered significantly to 19 3 months ago by a controversial constitutional amendment which unexpectedly passed with the unanimous consent of the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly. Young Mr. Pantomime is running on a law and order platform. His key campaign promises include the hiring of more police, stricter penalties for repeat criminal offenders, and an end to vigilantism. Mr. Pantomime's campaign has received increasingly harsh criticism from his opponents, elements of the media, and academia. Many have claimed a carnival-like atmosphere pervades his campaign rallies and there is little substance to his platform beyond fear-mongering. Frequent chants of "lock them up, we love the police, democracy trumps elitism" have been mainly directed at the Sailor Guardians led by Sailor Moon. The Sailor Guardians, who have gained tremendous popularity with Tokyo's youth in recent months, are a mysterious group of costumed young women who many see as crime fighters. Mr. Pantomime has condemned the group as a sign of the societal rot which has infected our fair prefecture and once peaceful country. Yosagi's junior high school later that day, afternoon. "Ah, you look sad. Is something wrong, Yosagi?" Ami asked her friend as she, Makoto, and Minako sat outside enjoying their free period. Jadeite had taken Rei out for a meal so she was not present. Rei usually arranged to eat her meals with the others even though her school was located several blocks away. Recently, Rei expressed interest in transferring to their school to be with her friends but her domineering father, a local politician, was resisting her request. He preferred that Rei remain in her private girls' school run by local Catholic nuns. Her father contended it was to keep Rei out of trouble and most importantly, away from boys. He made no bones about the fact he disapproved of Rei's relationship with Jadeite, not that there was much he could do about the matter seeing how Rei's grandfather who was technically head of the family, thus he controlled the valuable family shrine and its large income which funded Rei's father's political aspirations, liked the boy a great deal. "That little monster has my folks wrapped around her little finger. I just know she's up to no good but I can't do anything about it. I wish I knew where she came from, what her angle is playing," Yosagi said slouching. "I'm sure we'll find out the truth about her soon. You shouldn't worry so much, Yosagi. It'll make you old before your time," Ami warned. "My dad says nothing comes from worry except gray hairs and wrinkles." "Yeah, well, easy for your dad to say. He isn't living with a tiny pink-haired demon," Yosagi said continuing to slouch lower. "I guess it isn't all bad. I did ask Luna to keep an eye on her with Artemis. I also have them running a background check on her." "You made our cat spy on Chibi-Yusa?" Minako asked. "She's only a small girl." "A small girl with a brainwashing umbrella," Yosagi countered. "Why would anyone innocent have a brainwashing umbrella, tell me that, Minako?" "Yosagi does have a point, Minako," Makoto said. "Chibi-Yusa unique umbrella does raise a red flag, you must admit." "Granted," Minako said. "But it doesn't necessarily mean she is an enemy. Why else would she have it?" Yosagi challenged. I don't know. Maybe it's for self-defense. She is a tiny thing. Anyone could hurt her if they tried," Minako offered. "Why are you defending her, Minako? She's probably our enemy." Yosagi said, her words becoming heated. "Maybe because I know what it's like to be alone and frightened. Before you guys awoke I was a one-girl act with only Artemis for company. I couldn't trust anyone with my secrets. So, yeah, I think we should give Chibi-Yusa the benefit of the doubt. We have no idea what she is running from," Minako said. "I agree with Minako. We should help Chibi-Yusa if we can," Makoto said. We're Sailor Guardians, right? Helping people is what we do best. True, and Chibi-Yusa certainly seems like she needs our help and maybe our protection, Ami said. You're only saying that, Ami, because she likes you and Zoisite, and Mamoru, Usagi complained. She's done naught but give me the cold shoulder and screwed up my family's situation since her arrival. Can you blame her? Minako said. You haven't exactly rolled out the red carpet for her. I've been plenty friendly to the little brat. Chibi-Yusa is the rude one, not me. Usagi said, turning up her nose. Yeah, of course, she's the rude one, not you, Usagi. How silly of me for suggesting otherwise, Minako said, rolling her eyes. Thank for Minako for finally seeing reason, Usagi said, not detecting the thick sarcasm in her friend's voice. Free period is almost over, Ami said, checking her smartwatch. We should head back inside. We'll meet at the arcade after school so we can discuss the Chibi-Yusa situation in more detail. I can't, Usagi groaned. Why ever not? Ami asked. Yeah, running a background check on the kid was your idea. Aren't you interested in the results, if there are any? Minako said. My mom grounded me for a week, Usagi said, groaning again. Why did she do that? Makoto asked. Because of Chibi-Yusa, naturally, Usagi said. Usagi, what did you do now? Minako sighed. Nothing, I swear, Usagi said. Chibi-Yusa starting fighting with me, so I fought back. I told her to run away if she is upset by my alleged mistreatment of her. Oh, Usagi, you didn't. Ami gasped. I sure did. The little brat had it coming. She cried and everything, or pretended to, I think. Usagi said with smug stratification. I thought our princess was a nice, caring person, the type of person who would never victimize anyone weaker than her. Guess I was wrong, Minako said. Hey, she started it, Usagi said, taking offense at Minako's rebuke of her childish behavior. She's just a kid. A little girl, Usagi, a frightened, likely sad, little girl who has lost family somehow. What you said to Chibi-Yusa was atrocious. Makoto said. Makoto, Usagi said. How could you be so heartless, Usagi? I thought you weren't such a heartless person. After everything we've been through, everything we've lost, and almost lost, you need to grow up. Ami said. Guys, you don't understand. She's making my life a living hell. She's insulted me. She's inserted herself into my family like an insidious weed. I'm the victim here, not her. How can you side with Chibi-Yusa over me? I'm your leader, remember. You take commands from me. I'm in charge of our group. Usagi said. Chibi-Yusa was an annoying pest. Usagi owned the brat nothing, right? Minako bristled at Usagi's last order-like comments, as did Ami and Makoto. She glanced around to make sure they were alone. Good, the courtyard was deserted. Exactly, you're the mighty Sailor Moon, the protector of the downtrodden. You should know better than us lowly guardians how to treat a child who comes to you seeking help, Princess Serenity. We are no longer permitted to express our opinions if they clash with those of Her Majesty. Let's go, girls. Our fearless leader has more decrees to issue. I'd hate if we got in her way. I didn't mean it like that, please wait. I'm sorry, guys. Usagi called, but the others were already gone. They had quite enough of her immunity for one day. Usagi sat alone for several long minutes. Were the others right? Had she mistreated Chibi-Yusa? If so, could she correct her mistake, make it up to the mysterious pink-haired girl somehow? Why was life so hard? Why could her problems never be simple ones? 30th century Crystal Tokyo, night. Sailor Sun, the leader of the Outer Sailor Guardians, did not like this one bit. When she arrived on Earth with sailors Uranus and Neptune, they soon found everything quiet, far too quiet. There were no enemies about, neither were there any allies. Where was Neo Queen Serenity, King Endymion, the inner sailor goddesses, the paladins of lights? Something was very wrong here. Crystal Tokyo was a graveyard strewn with the corpses of its citizens, as was every other city they visited. The only thing that set Crystal Tokyo apart was the slowly expanding pillar of jagged dark purple crystal. It dominated the landscape like a misshapen cancerous tumor. Even a kilometer away from the thing hovering in the air, they could sense its unwholesome energies. Sailor Sun brushed a stray burnt orange hair from her face. Most of her long tangerine locks were tied into a long French braid. She wore the standard uniform of the Sailor Guardians, a white shirt, elbow-high white gloves, and knee-high boots which were colored orange, as was her skirt and the trim on her gloves. Orange was her distinctive color. "Sun, I see someone approaching our position," Sailor Uranus said, squinting at the distant horizon. She was the sharpest-eyed among their number. "It's Saturn. Perhaps she knows what has transpired here." "Perhaps," Sailor Neptune hoped. "Hail, Saturn, have discovered the cause of this catastrophe?" Sailor Sun asked. Sailor Saturn stopped about a dozen feet away from her fellow outers. Her weapon clutched tightly in her hands. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "What are you sorry about? Are Serenity and her family in trouble? Answer me, I must know," Sailor Sun said. She felt a chill grip her heart. She feared the worst. Dear Serenity couldn't be dead, she'd have felt it, wouldn't she have? Shroud of silence, Sailor Saturn shouted. Sailor Sun managed to dodge the unexpected attack. Uranus and Neptune, who happened to be closer, were not so lucky. They found themselves unable to speak or hear. As with every Sailor Guardian, most of their signature attacks were dependent upon their voices. Furthermore, they were temporarily so discombobulated they could hardly float without falling to the ground far below. Saturn effectively crippled them with her opening salvo. "Saturn, have you taken leave of your senses? Why do you attack us, your sister Sailor Guardians?" Sailor Sun demanded as she prepared a counterattack. "I have no choice," Sailor Saturn said hesitantly. "Please, forgive me, my leader, for I do what I must," she added, bowing her head slightly. "Then I shall do what I must," Sailor Sun said, an angry expression on her face. Solar flare surge. Burning orange-yellow energy formed around her fists. Clapping her hands together, Sailor Sun directed a large shaft of blinding heat and energy at Saturn. With considerable difficulty, Saturn summoned a bubble of black-gray energy to protect herself. It barely withstood the onslaught. "Yield, Saturn, or I'll be forced to employ more drastic measures," Sailor Sun threatened. "I can't. Yet I don't want to harm any of you. You must believe me. Please, I beg of you, Sailor Sun, my wise leader, take the other outers and leave this place before we spill each other's blood," Sailor Saturn said. "And leave Earth and our loved ones to their fate, never." "How can you ask such a thing of me, Saturn?" Sailor Sun said. "I do not ask for myself, rather for others. I ask because I love them too and I desire their protection," Sailor Saturn said, a somber look in her eyes. "I can say no more except that you must trust me, please." There was something in Sailor Saturn's expression and the tone of her voice that gave Sailor Sun pause. "Very well," she said after a moment of consideration. "We shall withdraw, for now. Uranus and Neptune require time to heal. We shall return once they are in fighting shape. Be advised, your cowardly tactics will not avail you a second time. We'll be ready. If, in the meantime, we sense anything has changed for the worse here on Earth, I shall immediately intervene, regardless of their condition." "Understood," Sailor Saturn said. "Thank you." "Don't thank me. I'm not doing this for you, Saturn," Sailor Sun said sternly. "If we all survive whatever this is, you'll have much explaining to do. You may not believe me, but I truly hope I get the chance. Sailor Saturn said. You're right, I'm not sure I do believe you. Either way, we'll see each other again, soon. Sailor Sun said. She collected Uranus and Neptune. She flew off into the night. A splendid show, my dear Sailor Saturn, Wiseman said, appearing from out of nowhere. Prince Demanda doubted me when I told him of my desire for your services. He thought you are too wild to ever be tamed. He was wrong, as I foresaw. You, Saturn, are one of our creatures now as thoroughly as are our dolls. You are our toy, Saturn, now and forever. He. Sailor Saturn wanted nothing more at that moment than to whirl around and crush the vile shadow. She hated her tormentor. Oh, how she despised her puppet master. But fear stayed her hand and her staff, fear born of love. She dared not attack him. She would gladly die before she allowed any harm to befall the children. Where is the princess? Sailor Saturn asked. The fate of the missing princess weighed heavily on her heart. The princess was not with the junior goddesses, hopefully, that meant she was safe. Her fate is none of your concern, Wiseman said. Perhaps she is with us, perhaps she is not. I'll let your imagination run wild. A good card player never tips their hand. He. Sailor Saturn narrowed her eyes. Her free hand formed a fist. If Wiseman noticed her threatening posture, he gave no outward indication. Wiseman merely continued to find mirth in her misery. His cackling laughter rang out unabated. How dare he use her against those she held dear and everything she had sworn to protect? She was no one's plaything. Sailor Saturn silently swore she would rid all existence of this wretched thing when the time arrived. Until then, she would play her part. She would lull Black Moon into a false sense of security. The moment the junior goddesses were safe and the princess accounted for, she would strike down every member of Black Moon. Only then, with his plans in ruins, his comrades dead, would she pour forth her full wrath on Wiseman. Black Moon Episode 3, Regret. Usagi Tsukino's residence, late afternoon. Usagi knocked on the closed door and impatiently waited for an answer. She hoped she was doing right. When the answer finally came, she was equal parts trepidatious and equal parts relieved. With great effort, Usagi painted a huge smile across her face, even though she felt anything but happy. Who is it? Chibi Usa's voice said. It's me, Usagi. May I come in? I have something I want to say to you. Usagi asked. I guess, Chibi Usa's voice answered after a rather long pause. Hi, Squirt, what are you doing? Usagi said, entering the spare room her parents had given Chibi Usa. Reading, Chibi Usa said, glancing up from the tablet. She was laying on the bed with Lunapi beside her. I guess you're still ticked off at me, huh? Usagi said. I sure am, Chibi Usa said, not looking up from her book. You told me to run away and never come back. Running away is what got me in this mess. Huh, how so? Usagi asked. I don't want to talk about it, especially not with you, Chibi Usa said, flipping over onto her stomach. I deserved that, Usagi said. Look, I want to help you. I need to help you. Can you please tell me what is going on? What are you running away from? You can't help me. Only Sailor Moon can help me. Chibi Usa said, ignoring Usagi. I know Sailor Moon. We're good friends. Scratch that, we're best friends, two peas in a pod. If I ask, she'll help you. Usagi said. Yeah, right, Chibi Usa snorted. No, truthfully, we're very close, Usagi said. Prove it, contact her, Chibi Usa challenged, putting down the tablet. She stared hard at Usagi. Although it was against her better judgment, Usagi decided there was only one thing she could do. She double-checked the hallway. Good, they were alone. She softly closed the door. She clasped her brooch in her hands and transformed into Sailor Moon. "See, I'm Sailor Moon. I can help you," Usagi said, smiling. Her smile, however, did not last long. "You fraud," Chibi Usa said venomously. "You're not Sailor Moon, you can't be. My MO, Sailor Moon is intelligent, powerful, and dignified. You're bumbling, rude, and a wreck." She hopped off the bed and grabbed Usagi's brooch. What are you doing?" Sailor Moon stammered. "Taking away what you stole, thief," Chibi Usa said. Chibi Usa plucked the brooch free. A stunned Usagi reverted to her normal form. Before Usagi could stop her, Chibi Usa opened the bedroom door. She was out of the house in a heartbeat. She departed so fast she left behind Luna P. "Come back here, you thieving brat. That's mine," Usagi said, racing after Chibi Usa. "Usagi, where are you going? Why did Chibi Usa leave so suddenly? Were you rude to her again?" Usagi's mother said as Usagi flew by. "No time to explain, sorry mom," Usagi shouted over her shoulder. "Usagi, you're still grounded? Get back here right now," Usagi's mother yelled. "I can't mom," Usagi shouted. "Usagi." Usagi's mother yelled, but her daughter was already out of earshot. Minako Ano's residence, late afternoon. Then she played the leadership card. She said we aren't allowed our own opinions unless our opinions line up with her opinion. The nerve of her. Minako vented at her boyfriend Kunzite. He had met her and walked home with her once their school days ended. "Mikey, his pet name for her, I have a serious question," Kunzite said. "Shoot," Minako said. "Are you upset because Usagi played the leadership card, as you put it, or because she can play that card?" Kunzite asked. "What do you mean?" Minako said. "You were the Sailor Guardian leader during our past lives. Could you be a tad bit envious of Usagi? She did usurp your position, from a certain point of view." Kunzite said. "No, I would never." Minako stopped for a moment. She carefully considered his words. "You're right. I don't like it that Usagi is now in charge. I have so much more experience than she does. She isn't ready. Even in this life, I was the first Sailor Guardian who awoke. I was a one-girl band for 6 months. Shouldn't that count for something?" Minako frowned. "My poor, sweet Venus," Kunzite said, embracing her. He stroked her long hair gently. "You've been through so much. I wish I could have stood by your side." "What happened wasn't your fault," Minako said, putting her head on his shoulder. "I should have been stronger. If I had been, maybe I could have resisted Queen Beryl's control. But I'm here now. You're no longer alone," Kunzite said. "I think I better apologize to Usagi, don't you?" Minako said, looking into Kunzite's eyes. "I think so," Kunzite agreed. Minako withdrew from Kunzite, although she would rather have remained in his arms if given a choice. Minako activated her communicator. "Usagi, this is Minako, please come in," she said. There was a crackle of static before the breathless voice of Usagi was heard. "Minako, what is it?" Usagi's voice panted. "Usagi, I just want to apologize for what happened at school. You're right. We should exercise caution when dealing with Chibi Usa. Who knows what her agenda is?" Minako said. "Can't talk. Chibi Usa stole my brooch." Usagi's voice gasped. "She has the silver crystal," Minako said in alarm. She exchanged a worried look with Kunzite. "Yeah, I'm chasing her. I could use some help." Usagi's voice wheezed. She was almost out of breath. "Don't worry Usagi, help is on the way. Kunzite and I will be there, sorry." We'll contact the others while en route. Where are you? Minako said. Downtown Tokyo, a short time later. Chibiusa ran as fast as her short legs would carry her. Finally, she had gained her prize. She needed only to evade her pursuer until she could use the time key. Chibiusa was almost to the nearest subway entrance when a pair of strong hands embraced her. Oh, no, you don't, Nephrite said. He and Makoto appeared from out of nowhere. Let me go. Chibiusa cried. She kicked Nephrite hard in his midsection, causing him to double over in pain. Makoto tried to grab Chibiusa, but Chibiusa stomped on her foot. Ouch, Makoto yelled, jumping up and down on her good foot. Chibiusa ran in the opposite direction. Not watching where she was going, she bumped into Zoisite and Ami. She made a quick beeline around them, only to be cut off by the trio of Minako, Kunzite, and Mamoru. It was Mamoru who pulled her up into his arms, kicking and screaming. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Chibiusa screamed. She reached for her collapsible umbrella, but Mamoru slapped it from her hand. Several onlookers gazed at the scene. My little sister is throwing a tantrum. She wanted a new toy. Usagi said, panting for air. Kids, what are you going to do, eh? The onlookers turned away. I believe this doesn't belong to you, Mamoru said sternly. He took away Usagi's brooch from Chibiusa. He handed the brooch back to its rightful owner. Thanks, Mamoru, Usagi said, reattaching her brooch to her outfit. Her plan undone, Chibiusa started crying. Now I'll never see my family again. I failed, a second time. I'm just not strong enough, I'll never be strong enough. She sobbed. You're plenty strong, kid, Nephrite said, rubbing midsection. You pack quite a wallop. You sure do, Makoto said. The feeling was slowly returning to her foot. Usagi, Rei is in serious trouble at her school. The voice of Luna crackled over Usagi's communicator. She's been attacked by a mysterious foe and only has Jadeite for backup. Artemis' voice said. The cats must be in the command center, Usagi reasoned. We're on it, Usagi said. What about her? Mamoru asked, holding Chibiusa firmly. Usagi considered abandoning Chibiusa. Let the ungrateful little kleptomaniac go back wherever she came from, well, good riddance. But the words of her friends from earlier rang in her eyes. Damn it, Sailor Moon is a hero. Sailor Moon helps people, even those who do not deserve her help. We show her who we are, Usagi said. Rei's school, not long afterward. Black Moon clan member Koan, one of the Spectre sisters, regarded her foes with mild disdain. Sailor Mars shared her flame-based abilities, but Mars was an unworthy counterpart. Mars was sentimental and weak. Furthermore, Mars' mate was of a similar sort. Defeating these two would be oh so very easy. You shouldn't have inferred night. Your beautiful warrior had already lost when you arrived. I would only have taken her, now I'll take you both. Koan snickered. Jadeite unleashed an energy attack at Koan, who suffered no ill effects after dissipating most of it with an energy blast of her own. Rather than counterattack Jadeite, Koan blasted the already weakened Mars with an impenetrable surge of blue flame. No, Jadeite said. He ran over to pull Mars free, but instead he was sucked in as well. Off we go, Koan said jubilantly. Stop, Sailor Moon said. Hi, more fodder, how nice, Koan said. Koan attempted another attack, but the Sailor Scouts were ready for her, as were the Knights and Tuxedo Mask. Koan was peppered by their signature attacks, in rapid succession, including Tuxedo Mask's smoke bomb, which he had recently been made aware of by his knights. Sailor Moon finished Koan with her moon healing escalation. Koan disintegrated under the assault. Sailor Moon turned her attention to the trapped Mars and Jadeite. She tried to free them without success. The others were about to join in when a new member of Black Moon arrived through a portal that quickly closed behind him. He hovered in the air about a dozen feet above the group. "Bravo, what a performance! I've never been so moved," Rubius said, clapping his hands in a sign of mock applause. Unfortunately, it was all for nothing. He opened a portal and whisked Mars and Jadeite away. "Don't despair. You'll all join them, soon enough." He then vanished via yet another portal. Mars. Jadeite. No! Sailor Moon cried in anguish. She fell to her knees. Tears streamed down her face. She had failed her friends utterly. How could this be? If only she and the others had arrived earlier, perhaps this tragedy could have been prevented. If only there was someone she could blame. "We'll get them back," Venus offered. You did this," Sailor Moon growled. She glared at Chibiusa as she got to her feet. She pointed an accusing finger at the frightened child. "I bet you're a spy." "I'm not a spy, I'm not," Chibiusa wailed, backing away. "Who are you? Answer me," Sailor Moon said. I'm, Chibiusa stammered. "Sailor Moon, maybe you should call dash," Sailor Mercury began, only to be cut off. "No, Mercury, she arrives then they arrive and abduct our friends. There is a connection." "I know there is," Sailor Moon said. "I'll only ask you once more. Who are you? Answer me, or I won't help you." "I'm your daughter from the future," Chibiusa screamed at the top of her lungs, her face stained with tears. Everyone fell silent. Black Moon Episode 4, Future Tense. Ariai's school, late afternoon. Sailor Moon was rendered temporarily speechless. Chibiusa's extraordinary claim could not be true, could it? No, the very notion was ridiculous, but then there was Chibiusa's toy to consider, the shortened version of Chibiusa's name Usagi, and as much as Sailor Moon was loath to admit it, the pink-haired girl bore an uncanny resemblance to Usagi herself. Sailor Moon noticed something around Chibiusa's neck glint in the dying light of the setting sun. "Can I see your necklace?" she asked. Her anger had evaporated. Chibiusa looked uncertain. She glanced at Sailor Mercury and Zoisite for direction. A pang of guilt passed through Sailor Moon. If she is my daughter, she doesn't trust me. She's afraid of me, not that I can blame her. I've been but a brat to everyone since she arrived. She thought with regret. I won't keep it. I just want to look, okay? Sailor Moon said. Go ahead, Sailor Mercury urged. You're safe, none of us will harm you, Zoisite said. Hesitantly Chibiusa took off her necklace. There were two items on a gold chain. One was an old-fashioned key, the other a beautiful round piece of flawless crystal. The crystal vibrated when Sailor Moon brought it close to her brooch, which contained what she now knew to be its twin. Sailor Moon suddenly knew without question that letting the two crystals touch would be a bad idea, so she handed the chain back to a visibly relieved Chibiusa. Your crystal is the future Silver Millennium crystal, isn't it? Sailor Moon stated more than asked. Yeah, Chibiusa said, putting the chain back around her neck and tucking her treasures safely away beneath her blouse. Hold my brooch, please, Sailor Moon said, handing it to Tuxedo Mask. Sailor Moon flickered, then reverted to Usagi. Everyone was silent, not knowing what to expect as Usagi knelt. Usagi surprised everyone when she reached out and embraced the child. Chibiusa momentarily flinched but then melted into her embrace. I'm so sorry, baby. You came to me seeking help, but I've given you only more pain. That stops today, Usagi said. Chibiusa cried on Usagi's shoulder. Everything that has happened is my fault. I took the silver crystal because I thought it would give me powers like you. I want to be like you so badly. All the others have powers, I'm the only one who doesn't. I'm weak and useless. I'm sorry, mommy. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Chibiusa cried, her emotional dam broken beyond repair. Hush, baby, I know this isn't your fault. The people who took Mars and Jadeite are after you and the silver crystal, aren't they? Usagi said. Yes, they're members of the Black Moon clan, villains from the future. Prince Demanda, their leader, attacked my home, Crystal Tokyo. Somehow he defeated all the adults. The others stayed to fight while I came here to get help. Chibi-Usa explained. If the adults have been defeated, who are these others you speak of? Sailor Venus asked. Kids my age, your kids, Chibi-Usa said, looking at the sailor scouts and their knights. Unlike me, they can transform into scouts too. My closest friend among them is Hermia. Hermia and her parents have always been very nice to me. Hermia is the future daughter of Sailor Mercury and Paladin Pisces. Who is Paladin Pisces? Zoisite asked, a bit taken aback by the news that a stranger would steal his Ami away at some point. You are Paladin Pisces, Uncle Zoisite, or rather you will be someday, Chibi-Usa said. Interesting, this explains why you look to us for protection. Sailor Mercury said. How did you get here, to our time? Sailor Jupiter asked. By using this, Chibi-Usa said, taking the chain from her blouse and removing the key from its chain. It's a space-time key. Can you use it again, take us to your time? Usagi asked, finally releasing Chibi-Usa from her embrace. She wiped away a few tears from her eyes as stood up a smile on her face. I think so, Chibi-Usa said. You should transform before I try, just to be safe. Sure thing, Usagi said to her brooch back from Tuxedo Mask. She transformed into Sailor Moon. Everyone, hold on to me, Chibi-Usa said. Chibi-Usa invoked the power of Kronos, the god of time. A swirling vortex appeared overhead. Soon they were sucked inside. Just before this happened, Luna P bounced into Chibi-Usa's waiting arms. How did it find us? Does it have a computerized brain or something, or is it magical, or both? Sailor Moon could not help but wonder before they vanished inside the vortex. The realm beyond time. Follow me, hold on, Chibi-Usa urged. Slowly our group made their way through a maelstrom of sound and light until they reached a calm patch. Not far off stood a closed doorway. We have to go through there, Chibi-Usa said, indicating the doorway. They had no more than approached within a dozen feet of it than a tall female figure appeared seemingly from out of nowhere. Halt! Whomever you may be. I am Sailor Pluto, the guardian of time. In the name of Pluto, I will punish you if you attempt to meddle in the affairs of time. The green-haired young woman in her green and white Sailor Guardian suit proclaimed loudly. She wielded a fearsome-looking rod which was as long as she was tall. A grim expression on her face told that offered no quarter. Pluto, they're with me. They're here to help. Please don't attack them. Chibi-Usa yelled, running forward. Everyone was surprised when this hardened warrior scooped Chibi-Usa up into her arms and smiled warmly. Small lady, I've been worried sick. I never should have let you go. Time travel is strictly forbidden. By allowing you to go to the past, I broke one of the commandments that govern my guardianship. Sailor Pluto said. Is she your friend? Nephrite asked Chibi-Usa, holding back the attack he had readied. Pluto is one of my bestest friends, Chibi-Usa said happily. Is your bestest friend going to let us pass, or not? Sailor Jupiter asked. I shouldn't. Normally I wouldn't. Sailor Pluto said sternly. She continued with a deep sigh. Alas, this is an unprecedented event. I sense the Black Moon clan is a threat to the entire timeline, not just the era of Crystal Tokyo. They must be stopped at all costs. Sailor Pluto placed Chibi-Usa down. She stepped aside. You may pass. But before our heroes could enter the doorway, Sailor Saturn appeared along with Wiseman, who floated next to her. Are these two more of your friends? Kunzite asked Chibi-Usa. Hooray, Saturn is here. She'll help us set things right. Chibi-Usa shouted joyfully. I'm sorry, small lady. I love you. Sailor Saturn said. She wore an expression of profound sadness mixed with anger. Welcome, Moon Princess, to your doom. Wiseman's odd high-pitched voice warbled between giggles. His eyes glowed menacingly within the dark confines of his hood. Is he Prince Demanda? Sailor Venus asked Chibiusa and Pluto. No, he isn't. I've never seen him before. Chibiusa said fearfully. Destroy the time doorway, Saturn, or you know what will happen. Meanwhile, I'll deal with these pests from a soon-to-be defunct past. Wiseman's voice warbled between giggles. All hell broke loose. The remaining past Sailor Scouts, Knights, and Tuxedo Mask unleashed their attacks on Wiseman, who easily brushed these aside. Meanwhile, Sailor Pluto and Sailor Saturn hurled energy attack after energy attack at each other until Sailor Saturn jumped away from Sailor Pluto. Sailor Saturn grasped her staff with both hands, holding it in front of her. Silence glaive surprise. Sailor Saturn shouted. A ball of rapidly expanding navy blue energy surged forth towards the doorway. Sailor Pluto did all she could to repel it, but her efforts were in vain. Rolling aside, Pluto commanded the time door to open, displacing inside everyone except for Wiseman and Sailor Saturn, who vanished, once the former realized what was happening, just as the door frame cracked. The archways shuddered, then imploded, burying the doorway of time under a small mountain of debris. Elsewhere. What happened? Sailor Mercury groaned, rubbing her sore head. I'm not sure, Zoisite said, helping Mercury to her feet. The last thing I remember, Sailor Pluto pulled us through the time door before Sailor Saturn's could destroy it. If the time door is gone, are we stuck here? Sailor Jupiter said, helping Nephrite regain his footing. Wherever here is. Where are the others? Nephrite asked, glancing around. They were in some sort of dark chamber made from some type of craggy rock. REI. Sailor Mercury gasped, spotting the prone forms of her friend and her friend's boyfriend, who lay not far away. Jadeite. Zoisite yelled. We have to help them. Sailor Jupiter said. Help them, as if, the voice of Rubius cackled along, he was nowhere to be seen. You aren't even able to help yourselves. Without warning, the four felt extremely weak. They collapsed before they walked more than a few steps. Within seconds they were unconscious. Sailors Mercury and Jupiter reverted to Ami and Makoto. Welcome to Nemesis. I hope you'll enjoy your stay because it will be permanent. The voice of Rubius said darkly. Crystal Tokyo, night. What happened? Where are we? Sailor Venus said, glancing around at her unfamiliar surroundings. She noted Kunzite, Tuxedo Mask, Chibiusa, and Sailor Pluto were with her. Wait, where were the others? Sailor Moon, Yosagi, where are you? Tuxedo Mask called out frantically, but there was no answer. She isn't here. I felt her and the others slip from my grasp before I could bring us here. Sailor Pluto said. Where is she? Where are the others? Tuxedo Mask screamed in Pluto's face, grabbing her by the front of her uniform. What have you done with them? Answer me, damn you. I have done nothing. The one called Wiseman took them. He is working with the Black Moon clan. I tried to stop him, but I could not. Sailor Pluto said, pulling free with great effort. So that's what the creepy hooded guy's name is? Sailor Venus asked. Yes, Sailor Pluto replied. Where did he take them? Tuxedo Mask asked, his voice only slightly calmer. I suspect to his planet, Nemesis, but I can't be sure. Sailor Pluto said. How do we get there? Tuxedo Mask said. Going there isn't a good idea. Sailor Pluto said. I'll be the judge of that. Tuxedo Mask said. With a flourish of his cape, he turned his back on Pluto. He was about to storm off when he remembered he had no idea where he was or which direction would take him outside, if there was outside here. She's right, said a voice identical to Tuxedo Mask's but older, more refined. A transparent white-clad form of tuxedo mask stood before the group. Sailor Pluto fell to one knee, her head bowed while Chibi Yusa smiled happily. Allow me to introduce myself. I am King Endymion of Crystal Tokyo. We have much to discuss. The moon. Usagi awoke with a splitting headache that only slowly abated. Huh, she groaned. Somehow she had reverted to her human form. Blinking her blurry eyes, Usagi saw she was alone on the lunar surface. She beheld the deserted spires and empty walkways of the once great civilization which she had called home in another lifetime. How had she gotten here, and where were her friends, her new daughter, her precious Mamoru? Hello. Sailor Moon shouted, wandering around the barren landscape. Can anyone hear me? I hear you, Usagi, said a voice that sounded very familiar. Usagi blinked, then blinked again. She knew she could not be seeing what she was seeing, yet she was. How could this be possible? Before her stood Sailor Moon. Usagi checked for her brooch, it was missing. Surprised to see me, Usagi, you shouldn't be. Sailor Moon said. We both know you never wanted to be me. You're better off without me, right? That's not true. Usagi protested. Lair. Sailor Moon growled. You'd rather be at home playing video games and looking for funny videos on the internet. You despise me and the responsibility I brought into your life. And you despise me, your past self. Another figure said. This one was Princess Serenity. You detest what I stood for. I was nothing but a useless flower who failed those she cared about. I have no right to judge you, it was a different place and a different time, Usagi said. Yet you do judge me. Princess Serenity said. She judges us both, just like she judged Chibi Yusa, her daughter. Sailor Moon said. I'm sorry. I'm young. I make mistakes. I'm still learning. Usagi said. Then let us help you. Princess Serenity said. Accept your past. And your future. Sailor Moon said. Become complete, Princess Serenity said. I want to be complete, I do. But I'm afraid of losing myself. Usagi Tsukino deserves a chance to be herself. I deserve a chance to live my own life determined by me, not outside forces. Usagi said. Very well, prove your worth. Sailor Moon said, launching an energy attack at Usagi which she barely avoided. Princess Serenity zeroed in on Usagi. The pair exchanged kicked and punches. Luckily for Usagi, Princess Serenity was a worse fighter than she was, not so Sailor Moon. An energy attack hit Usagi in her back, bringing her to her knees. Will you cry now? Give up. Sailor Moon taunted. Usagi saw Princess Serenity aim a kick at her from out of the corner of her eye. No, but you might soon. Usagi jumped out of the way, allowing Princess Serenity to collide with Sailor Moon. Usagi grabbed Sailor Moon's brooch, pulling it free. We can work together or we can fight each other forever. Our loved ones need us. Usagi said to the heap at her feet. She put the brooch on her shirt. We're stronger together than apart. Sailor Moon and Princess Serenity took her outstretched hands. Dual surges of energy entered Usagi as the two aspects of her were reintegrated into the whole. Well done, my daughter. The spirit of Queen Serenity said. She appeared clapping her hands. Queen Serenity, Usagi said, happy to see her past life mother despite the trying circumstances. Was this a test? In a way it was. You were plagued by doubts. You needed to come to terms with who you are. Queen Serenity said with a gentle smile. How do I defeat Black Moon? Usagi asked. By believing in yourself. Queen Serenity said. I shall send you to Crystal Tokyo where the next chapter of your destiny awaits. And I shall send 2 friends there to greet you. I sense you'll need their help before all is done. She paused for a moment. A word of advice. My daughter, do not underestimate the powers of the one called Wiseman, or you may suffer a defeat so total our dream of a new silver millennium will die and darkness shall prevail forever. Usagi gasped in horror at the words of Queen Serenity. Remember, the silver crystal is a light that shines brightly even in the darkest of places. Crystal Tokyo. Usagi appeared along with two feline friends. Tuxedo Mask and Chibi Yusa ran over and hugged her. They never wanted to let go again. What in the world? Artemis exclaimed. 1 minute he and Luna were in the command center trying to figure out where the others went, the next minute they were here in this strange place. Things just get stranger and stranger, Luna sighed. You're back. Sailor Venus said happily. And this time I'm determined to set things right. If you'll excuse me for a moment. I think a change is in order. Usagi said. The others stepped back as she transformed into Sailor Moon. Okay, where are the others? Sailor Moon asked, noticing 4 of her friends were missing along with Mars and Jadeite, who remained unaccounted for. They are most likely on the planet Nemesis with the Black Moon clan. Sailor Pluto said. How do we get them back? Sailor Moon said. No one answer. Okay, what exactly is going on? I need to know what we're up against before I can create an action plan. I think I can help with that, King Endymion said. My story is a long one, but I think you will all find it most enlightening for your future. Warning: this chapter contains attempted sexual assault. Reader discretion is strongly advised. Black Moon Episode 5, When It Rains It Pours. The moon long ago, evening. But I want to stay with you. The green-haired little girl said, an expression of profound sadness on her face. It's a great honor to be chosen. A black-haired woman said. Be proud, not everyone is called upon to serve our kingdom, my daughter. A green-haired man said. Go with our queen, dear one. Don't keep her waiting. And do as she says. Hesitantly, the green-haired girl took the hand of the regal silver-haired woman. I know you are sad today, child, but someday you will understand this is for the best. The silver-haired woman said. Hand in hand the little girl and Queen Serenity walked out of the house and into the night where the queen's escort of female guards awaited. Goodbye, dear one, we will remember your sacrifice always. The green-haired man said as the black-haired woman began to sob into his chest. The realm beyond time. 6 months later. Your initiation is complete. You have passes your initial round of training with flying colors. I dub thee now and forever Sailor Pluto, the guardian of time. Queen Serenity said with a smile. Her pleasant expression turned stern. Queen Serenity stared intently at the frightened little girl who tightly clutched the garnet rod that was more than twice her height. Listen carefully, Pluto, there are 3 taboos or rules you must never break. 1. Never time travel or permit anyone else to time travel. 2. Never leave your place guarding the door of time. There, and most importantly, never stop the flow of time for any reason. If you break this final taboo or break all 3 taboos in succession, you will forfeit your guardian of time and death shall surely find you. Do you have any questions before I leave you to your sworn duty, Pluto? Queen Serenity, do I have to stay here alone? I'm scared. Sailor Pluto whimpered. I'm afraid you must, Pluto. The time door cannot remain unguarded, not even for a moment. To do so would court disaster. Since the demise of the previous guardian, my loyal soldiers have taken turns guarding it, but they lack the power to truly protect it. Only a guardian of time can do so. Queen Serenity said. She turned to leave, then stopped. Let me show you a magic trick. Do it whenever you're lonely or frightened, it will brighten your mood. Queen Serenity took Pluto's garnet rod. She twirled the rod around skillfully. Abracadabra. Rose petals burst from the air and rained down in a colorful, fragrant shower. Pluto's eyes light up and she clapped her hands together with momentary joy. Queen Serenity handed the garnet rod back to Pluto. I must leave. I will come back to check on your progress whenever I can. She opened the time door and departed. Wait, stay, please, don't leave me, come back Queen Serenity, come back. Sailor Pluto begged, but it was already too late. Queen Serenity was gone. Pluto was alone, and alone she would remain for the better part of her existence. Royal Palace, Crystal, Tokyo, night. And you've been like this since the explosion? And the queen has been trapped inside the silver crystal? Kunzite asked. Indeed, except for the children, who were unaffected for some reason I don't understand. King Endymion said. Tuxedo Mask found it strange and a bit disconcerting to chat with his future self, but they needed answers. Where are children? I don't see them here, he said, glancing around the impressive and massive command/control chamber of the palace. Against my advice, the junior goddesses went to fight the Black Moon clan. King Endymion said, bowing his head in shame. I haven't heard from them in hours. I fear they have been captured or worse. And you just let them go? Sailor Venus said incredulously. I could know little to stop them in my present state. King Endymion said, waving his transparent hand through the nearest console. Believe me, I would have gladly gone in their place if I could. We of the royal court are like one big extended happy family. The junior goddesses are as dear to me as is my daughter. The heroes from the past detected that his words were filled with great sincerity. I'm sorry, King Endymion. I let my emotions get the best of me. Sailor Venus said. This is a lot to take in. No need to apologize, Sailor Venus. You are understandably upset. King Endymion said. Guys, we're going to get them back safe and sound, same goes for our friends. Sailor Moon said. You really think so? Chibi-Usa said. Chibi-Usa gazed up in admiration at her hero, her savior, her mother. There was nothing Sailor Moon could not do. Sailor Moon always won. Sailor Moon was invincible. Her father had told her so many times. Everything would be alright because Sailor Moon was here. I bet our loved ones are on the planet Nemesis. Sailor Moon declared, pointing at the monitor that contained an image of the ugly celestial body in close orbit around Earth. But you heard King Endymion. If we set foot on Nemesis, we'll be sucked dry of our energy. Little that. Sailor Venus said, snapping her fingers. If we are rendered helpless, we'll be no use to them, or anyone else, Kunzite said. Sailor Moon scrunched up her face, thinking hard. If there was a way to get around being drained by the energy vampire planet, she could not think of it. She wished Mercury was here. Her brainy friend always knew what to do in this type of science-heavy situation. Surely you must possess spacesuits for exploration purposes. Luna asked King Endymion. Between Luna and Artemis stood the grey kitten Diana, their future daughter, as they had been told by the young feline. King Endymion shook his head before he again spoke. Regrettably, we do not. We use energy shields fueled by our mystic abilities to survive in space. What about spaceships? Artemis asked King Endymion. Those have been rendered powerless by the growing pillar of malefic black crystal that has struck down our city and its citizens. King Endymion making a fist to show his impotent anger. Their conversation was cut short by a wailing klaxon. Black Moon has launched another attack on the city. King Endymion said, tightening his phantom fist. They are slaughtering our unconscious citizens, and I'm powerless to stop them. We'll stop them. Sailor Moon said. Do you think such a course of action is wise? Sailor Pluto said. If you fall in battle, your future counterparts will cease to exist. The timeline would be altered drastically. You stay here if you want, but we're fighting. Sailor Venus said. Sailor Pluto sighed. Very well, if you insist upon this rash course of action, I'll come with you. Someone must safeguard the normal flow of time, although I fear that might be impossible given recent developments. Chibi-Usa, your friends are kind of useless. Sailor Venus could not help but say. Or downright treacherous, Kunzite added, recalling Sailor Saturn's earlier actions. My friends aren't useless. And Saturn must have a very good reason for helping the bad guys. She isn't a traitor. Chibi-Usa shouted, defending her two friends. Guys, that's uncalled for. Tuxedo Mask said. I apologize, sire, Tuxedo Mask, Kunzite said. I'm sorry too. Sailor Venus said. We have bigger things to worry about. Let's go save the people of Crystal Tokyo. Sailor Moon said. Chibi-Usa walked behind Sailor Pluto until her father stopped here. Small lady, you cannot go with them. King Endymion said, his voice firm yet kind. But Dad, I need to help, Chibi-Usa said. Your presence would only put them and yourself at greater risk. King Endymion said. You must remain here. Listen to your father, small lady. He only has your best interests at heart. Sailor Pluto said. It's because I'm weak, isn't it? Chibi-Usa wailed. I can't do anything right. Everyone would be better off if I disappeared. Don't ever say that, small lady. King Endymion admonished her. I'll never be good enough. I'll never be strong like Mom. In tears, Chibi-Usa ran away, clutching Luna P. the kitten Diana hot pursued. Small lady, come back. Sailor Pluto called. She felt terrible. Chibi-Usa was her only true friend. I'll talk to her, Pluto, go help our guests. King Endymion said. As you command, my king. Sailor Pluto said, respectfully bowing her head slightly. Streets of Crystal Tokyo, a few minutes later. The remaining Spectre sisters, Berthier, Calaveras, and Pets, were having the time of their wicked lives. One by one they zapped the helpless citizens of Crystal Tokyo into oblivion. They had vaporized dozens, perhaps 100 or more, when our heroes arrived to stop them. My, what do we have here, sisters? The mighty Sailor Moon and her band of heroes have come to stop us. I'm shaking in my boots. The green-clad Pets laughed. I doubt they can, sister. These four are weak. They're not from our time, they're from the past. The white-clad Calavera said with undisguised glee. I care not what time period they call home, sisters. By our time they'll be our enemies. Long have I dreamed of the day when the all-powerful Neo-Queen Serenity and her band of arrogant fools would be laid low. The purple-clad Berthier with an angry scowl. Come, let us avenge our fallen sister Koan by capturing them for Prince Demanda. The Spectre sisters fought like cornered animals. Sailor Pluto, seemingly unconcerned, hung back, observing the battle from a safe distance, which earned her dirty looks from Venus and Kunzite. Sailor Moon, Sailor Venus, Tuxedo Mask, and Kunzite had never before battled such fierce opponents. A dizzy array of energy attacks scarred the sky. Until Sailor Pluto used her Dead Scream energy ball, all seemed lost. Weakened and confused by the unexpected attack, the four warriors from the past took advantage of Pluto's opening and hit the trio of sisters with their signature attacks, overwhelming their foes, who were destroyed in a blast of light. How unexpected! You've now defeated all four Spectre sisters, Prince Demanda said. He had appeared from a swirling portal alongside the ever-present Wiseman. But your run of good luck ends with me. Wiseman, prevent Sailor Pluto from interfering. I desire to test the skills of our friends from the past. At once, Prince Demanda. Wiseman warbled. His hidden eyes glowed red within the confines of his hood. Sailor Pluto made ready to strike down Wiseman with a dead scream, but found herself held in place within a bubble of black-purple energy. You'll find escape quite impossible, my dear. He giggled. We can take these clowns down with or without Pluto, Sailor Moon said. Attack Prince Demanda, everyone. Prince Demanda withstood their combined attacks without ill effect or complaint. When Sailor Moon attempted her ultimate attack, Moon Healing Escalation, to banish the evil energy surrounding the prince, nothing happened. Sailor Moon stared at her moon wand in shocked disbelief. She could feel her powers ebbing away. Likewise, her allies suddenly felt weak. Surprised, Princess? Prince Demanda taunted. You shouldn't be, or have you forgotten that the planet Nemesis is overhead? The entire planet is composed of energy-draining malefic black crystal. He gestured at the large crystal pillar that stood not far away. Only those who carry malefic black crystal on their person or those who are linked to Nemesis can withstand its power, but don't take my word for it. Allow me to demonstrate. Prince Demanda used the dark eye imprinted on his forehead to paralyze our heroes. He then opened a new portal and pulled himself and Sailor Moon through it alongside Wiseman. Freed from Wiseman's enchantment, Sailor Pluto quickly cast a spell transporting the others back to the palace before they were also dragged inside. Tuxedo Mask demanded Pluto release him so he could go after Prince Demanda, Wiseman, and most importantly Sailor Moon, but she did not heed his words. Black Moon Headquarters Nemesis, sometime later. Welcome to our world Nemesis, Princess Serenity. Prince Demanda said, a manic smile on his Usagi, now wearing a pure gown, awoke with start. Usagi was seated in an ornate chair which resembles a throne at a long formal dining table. To her right stood Prince Demanda, a smile on his face. Usagi frantically felt for her brooch. She breathed a sigh of relief when she discovered it was attached to her new attire. I only let you keep it because it's useless here. Prince Demanda said. Try to transform all you like. You're a fly helplessly trapped in my spider's web, princess. Oh, how I've waited for this moment. I finally have the upper hand. You and your equally accursed friends can do nothing to stop me. I'll be calling the shots from here on. Why are you doing this? Usagi stammered. Her entire being gripped by fear. Because people shouldn't live forever. You overcame death through the power of the silver crystal. Within the burden of mortality gone, humanity has stagnated. Creativity and improvisation are lost arts. People are too happy, too content. When I and my followers pointed that out, you, or rather the tyrant you will become, banished us from Earth. Prince Demanda ranted. Prince Demanda circled Usagi's chair like a hungry jungle cat sizing up its next meal. He placed his hands on Usagi's shivering shoulders and began to massage her, which made Usagi squirm in her seat. He leaned in close, whispering in her ear. She felt his hot breath on her neck. Usagi choked back the bile rising in her throat. I loathe you and everything you stand for. Long ago I decided the world would be a far better place if you and your cohorts were gone from it. Prince Demanda hissed. He violently turned Usagi's chair around so she was facing him. His eyes shone with madness. To that end, I decided there was only one course of action, Operation Replay. Armed with the power of Nemesis, my followers will go back in time. We'll erase your kingdom from history, change things for the better. Your immoral reign will end before it begins. But not before I claim you for my own, body and soul. Prince Demanda kissed a struggling Usagi fiercely on her lips. He slipped his vile tongue down her throat. This was nothing like when she shared a tender moment with Mamoru. This was nasty, repulsive, horrible in every way imaginable. With strength born of sheer desperation, Usagi somehow pushed him off. Painting heavily, Usagi glared at her violator. You say my future kingdom will be immoral, Usagi said, hyperventilating. Well, mister, I'll tell you something else that is immoral. Rape is immoral. Enraged by Usagi's forceful rebuke, Prince Demanda surged forward. He slapped her face hard enough to leave behind an imprint of his hand. He pushed Usagi back into the seat and started shaking her. His hands then went to her throat. Stop. A strong feminine voice ordered. The tip of a scythe encircled Prince Demanda's neck. Release her or I'll decapitate you. Sailor Saturn snarled. Her dark eyes staring a hole straight through Prince Demanda. So, Wiseman let you off your leash, Saturn. Prince Demanda snarked. Hands off, I won't ask again. Sailor Saturn said, her scythe pressing into Demanda's flesh hard enough to draw forth a trickle of blood. Without a word, Prince Demanda released his grip on Usagi's now sore neck. He slunk out of the room glaring hatefully at Saturn the entire time. Once she was sure he would not return, Saturn helped Usagi to her feet. "I'm sorry I wasn't here sooner," Sailor Saturn said. How can you help them?" Usagi croaked out before a coughing fit overtook her. "Believe me, I'd rather not. Wiseman is holding the children hostage. He threatened to kill them unless I aided his cause. Here, let me get you some water," Sailor Saturn said. She retrieved a glass from the table, took a sip to make sure it was safe, then handed it to Usagi. Thank you," Usagi wheezed. Maybe we can WW work together, come you up WW with a way to stop Black Moon." "I'd like that, but how?" Sailor Saturn said. I am sure we can think of something if we put our heads together. I am tired of being their victim. How about you?" Usagi said after gulping down her glass of water. "You're preaching to the converted, princess," Sailor Saturn said with a smile, her first since this nightmare began. To be continued.